Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, across the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight is
Scott Hudson.
Dennis Burnside.
Paget Maynard.
all right, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Well, I think the topic that's at the top of the pile for political, economic, and social reasons is the war, the undeclared war in Iran, launched last Saturday by Agent Orange. It's a completely illegal war.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does it violate the U.S. Constitution, it violates international law,
Mm-hmm.
and it's already been a catastrophe economically for the United States. It's hitting Wall Street. The price of fuel is skyrocketing. It's heading towards $4 a gallon. It'll probably be there by the end of this week. And now we're starting to hear about casualties on the ground with U.S. service people. Officially, it's 7. But
8.
Is it 8? But I think the thing that concerns me is there seems to be a news blackout on what's really going on over there. For example, you hear from sources based in China, Japan, Indonesia, India, and Russia that the United States has suffered a lot of losses, as many as 500 men and women. Now, that hasn't been verified.
They're not giving us that
But
anyhow.
what we do know is there has been damage to the U.S. infrastructure that they're not reporting. 2 of their very high-tech, long-range radar facilities, multi-billion-dollar facilities, have been destroyed.
Yep.
And you hear scant information about that. I read the New York Times every day, and they finally alluded to it this weekend. But they didn't talk. They gave it a sentence or two. And they didn't give any impact of what this means for us logistically. It takes away our eyes and ears in the area. And the money. I mean, this was billions of dollars moving into trillions of dollars, just those 2 sites moving on over the years. And then you're starting to hear about damage to our partners over there, the GCC, the Gulf Coast countries, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, et cetera, who are all taking rounds, and they're pissed at Trump for starting this thing.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was an open letter written by one of the political emissaries from Kuwait who said, or maybe it was Qatar, I forget now, but he was saying, we just paid you $1 billion each for this peace council.
Yeah.
Where'd the money go?
Yeah.
Because no sooner do we pay it, you bomb us. And I'm looking at this dude like, man, don't
Because
you
they're
know
stupid.
who you're
Why
dealing
you
with?
gonna give the man
He's
your
a
money?
con man.
Yeah.
He's con Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
He's con children's charity for cancer.
Yeah.
He's conned his own family.
Yeah.
Why you think he won't con you?
Yeah. I mean,
So yeah, man, this war has the potential to be completely catastrophic. And I'll leave it with this because I know we've got Scott and Paget want to chime in too. What really rankles me about this is you actually have people here in the United States, right-wing evangelical Christians, the Christian nationalists, who are hoping it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, in their religious ideology, this is the war of Armageddon. As the Jamaicans say, Armageddon.
Yeah.
And they want this to happen because when that happens, Jesus is going to ride back in a new Cadillac, I don't know, something, and he's going to set things straight.
But
So
they're ready for Armageddon.
They're actually saying this is all prophecy, and Trump is the vessel of God, and whatever he says we need to do over there, let's do it.
yeah, and
Are they ready for Armageddon when they saying this is? Because
Apparently they are.
that is not something to play with.
Apparently, they very much are.
So
well, another thing I'm concerned about is all of the civilian life they're losing over there. You know.
Yes. You know, they had a school that was
I was
bombed.
just going to
right?
talk about that.
171 people died, mainly little girls
Yeah.
between the
Yes.
age of 5 and 12,
Well,
right?
grade
Here's the
school.
thing about that. First, they denied it, right?
Now they're
Then
investigating.
they said, well, we're going to have to investigate this, but we think that might have been friendly fire, Iranian.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the missiles used were United States issue missiles, and not only that, which they aren't telling you. This again is coming from foreign sources, but it was a double tap. Have you guys heard what a double tap is? It's a strategy that Israel uses all the time in Gaza. They'll bomb a location, right?
Yep.
Hit it with a missile. You got bodies on the ground. You got wounded people, and then you have the ambulances and the other rescue people, family, friends come in to try to save who they can save and identify who they can, and they hit it again.
Yeah.
That's been a tactic of the Israeli army,
Yeah.
the IDF, since the start of the Gaza. This school, according to witnesses, Al Jazeera, Democracy Now, several other sources,
Yep.
credible sources,
Yeah.
have said this was a double tap attack. In other words, they meant to do this.
Yeah.
This was no accident.
Yeah.
They targeted that school,
Yeah.
and once they had bodies on the ground, they hit it again to maximize the damage.
Did
Now,
you
if that's
hear-
not pure evil, I don't know what else is.
Did you hear somebody was interviewing Hegseth and they raised the question about the school? He said, well, what would you tell the people? Well, I'll just tell them we're looking into it.
Yeah, he was on 60 Minutes.
No, you can just tell the people we are looking into it. You already said you're looking into it. You first you say you didn't do it. Now you're looking into it. And okay, now, after here now, what are you going to tell the people?
Well, you know,
We're still looking into it.
well, the thing is that you're never going to get the right answer out of these people, you know.
Until they get knocked down.
Well, in a case like this, I don't think you will ever get the right answer. But I
Right, meaning truthful.
yeah,
Truthful.
I heard
Of course,
I heard the first couple of days after it happened, it was the U.S. who did it, you know, and then a couple of days later, oh, we were checking into it.
They denied it.
Well,
Yeah.
first they denied it.
Yeah,
Then when the evidence came out that the missile said made in Kentucky, then they had to admit it.
You couldn't dispute
But
that.
then they said it was accident.
yeah,
Then they said that it was not a military target. Why you hit it twice, player?
yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah.
Oh, we don't do. And Hegseth, we are not like those people.
Projection, man. Every
Those
time.
people.
Yeah.
And you notice the language, you know, that's typical Trumpian language. It's always somebody else,
Yeah.
never them. And by the way, before I forget, did you hear that they're running out of ammunition?
Yeah,
They're
it's,
running low on ammunition.
well,
But they think that Iran will not be able to do anything because they have decimated, they destroyed everything. But they don't realize they're only getting the light pieces of Iran. Iran heavy missiles, the big boys, are still waiting. So when you hardly got anything left and you can't stop these, they're going to be coming in. And when they come in, we're hitting hard.
You're talking about the hypersonic missiles.
Yeah.
And the hypersonic missiles are very interesting, man, in that they move at Mach 15, right?
Ooh.
Which I don't know how many thousands, probably about as fast as you drive. And they come in so fast that the Iron
4
Dome
seconds.
or all of these different targeting missiles, defense missiles, are struggling to intercept them. But here's a problem. When they get near the target, they break up, and they break up into multiple 80, 90, 100 little mini missiles that hit the ground. Now, if you listen to certain sources, there's a source that says there's a hospital in Germany that's being overrun with wounded, Israeli and U.S. military wounded. You're hearing reports of Tel Aviv being decimated. You're hearing credible reports of airports being hit.
Yeah.
Missile sites being hit. And here's a scary thing. It's obvious that Iran is well defended. They've got this rocky, hilly
Yes.
country, mountainous country, and they've diffused all of their military assets. So you can't find where a lot of these drones and missiles are coming from. And if you do hit them, so what? They've got 95 more of them hidden around here. And here's a real scary thing is they're talking about the Gulf Coast nations, which people need to know. If you're looking at phenotypes, they're phenotypically different than the Iranians. The Iranians are Persians. The Gulf Coast Council, Iraq, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, all these different countries,
Yep.
they're Arab.
Yeah.
So I know over here, Billy Bob and Mary Sue sitting there on TV thinking they just all a bunch of Arabs just got off camel last week. But no, they have a completely different culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't have this type of commonality that you may think. So Iran is like, look, man, those desalination plants you have, which you depend on for like 65, 70% of your fresh water.
And they hit them.
Oh, we got that in your targets.
Yeah.
Keep messing around.
Yeah.
And when you do that, now you're talking about mass
Destruction.
mass destruction and mass nutrition because people are literally not going to be able to hydrate themselves.
Exactly.
This could turn into a real catastrophe real fast, man.
You know, and the rapist, he was talking about it last week. He was oh, I done did this and I done did this. I'm supposed to be the biggest now. It's like,
Yeah, he's talking about he's going to pick the next leader.
Hey, Scotty.
yeah, he's going to go. He's going to go. He said that he has to be at the next.
Don't bother with him. He
know.
puts in out that they already chose who they wanted. They already declared who is. But what you think about Donald Trump coming out with this whole stupid idea that we are not going to talk to, they want to have a peace talk, but it's too late for that. Now, he is the one trying to get Iran
Yeah.
to back off and let's have a ceasefire. What do you think going on there?
I think this is a really important subject we're talking. We started with the war. It's wag the dog. Now no one's hardly talking about Epstein. I'm sure sick of it, but that's what's going on. That's one after another, and it's going to be endless. No, I have nothing good to say about the orange guy.
You know, it's interesting, Scott. Last week, after he started the war, a little discussed document was released by Trump's old DOJ, and it was a woman who said at the time she was 13 years old. She was forced to perform oral sex on Donald Trump,
And she
and she
beat him.
was so mad she bit him, and he took a lot of incoming fire, and he was so mad he slapped her, and she said one of the women there told her, "Look, honey, as a piece of advice, take care of your breasts, wear your bra every night." That was the advice she got after
Take
she
care
was
of
sick.
what?
Wear your bra every night. She said that's what they told her after all this happened.
13.
13 years old, and this all came out, and it's all part of this file, man. That
That they were hiding.
it's coming out to the point now, man, where you really can't help but be horrified by the stuff that you're starting to hear. Like, they use all these euphemisms for these young people. They call them pizza, and they call them fresh meat and all this kind
And
of
that's
stuff.
where they come with the pizza place.
Pizzagate.
Yeah.
These are young human beings. These are babies, literally.
Listen,
Well,
I don't have any sympathy for any of those guys. Okay? These girls, minors, kids. But if the talk is correct, if it's true, you wouldn't be surprised if Donald is doing that or was doing that.
No. I mean, if it's what he's already admitted to. A lot of these behaviors he admitted on the record, he was kind of bragging about them.
Okay?
So, yeah, you can't be the surprised by his depravity. But what I am surprised by is a willingness of people for political expediency to accept
Ain't
that
no-
these things happen
ain't
and
no
not be willing to
expediency
do
in that.
anything. Oh, it is political
Ain't no
expediency.
expediency.
If somebody,
It's just
if
that
you're
crooked-
corrupt enough, if you're corrupt, let me finish. If you're corrupt enough, if somebody says, this man here just committed a murder of your next door neighbor, but if you don't talk about it, I'll put $50 million in your pocket.
You mean like they
I'm
gave
talking
to
to
the
you.
thing?
I'm saying
Like
to
they
you.
just did?
Listen to me. If I say to you, you tell on Ahmad, he goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You keep your mouth shut, you got $50 million in your bank account. Some people will say, I ain't talking.
Right.
And the same thing happens here.
Okay.
You got a lot of people who are blackmailed, and you have a lot
I
of people
know.
who are paid off.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that there are people who should be taking action based on their moral superiority
Mm-hmm.
and what they say about how much they love the family and how much they love the children. And then they see this happen, and they got nothing to say. They got absolutely nothing to say, man.
So it
And
makes
some
you
of these
wonder who
stories
was
are just-
paid off.
Well, the whole Epstein apparatus is a Israeli blackmail apparatus, man. That's how they leverage people. Why do you think the Democrats are so reticent to speak out on some of this stuff? Like, here's a good example. Last week they had a vote on whether or not to require that Trump adhere to the Constitution by getting approval from the Congress as a declaration of war to allocate the money for this war in Iran. Now, they didn't say you can't have your war, Trump. They just said you're going to have to come
have to
through
get the
us.
permission.
You got to go through Congress as the Constitution says. You had 4 Democrats vote against it, right? You had 1 Democrat, you had 1 Republican vote for it. You had 4 Democrats vote against it. Those 4. Had those 4 voted with the party, would have required Trump to go to Congress and get a declaration of war. But you had 4 people who vote against it. So we could talk about they always seem to have this convenient number where they always find just enough Democrats, and they always move. You know, it's a different villain each time.
Yeah.
But they always seem to find just enough votes to tie the Democrats' hand. And then Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries, who I'm so disappointed in, because I'm an admirer of his uncle, Leonard Jeffries, the African history scholar. He comes up and says, well, I'm going to have to think about if I'm going to be willing to vote for more money to go to this Iran war. What?
What do you mean you got to
You got to think about it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
You're over here bellowing about how Trump is this and that, and now you don't even know whether or not you can tell him that he's got to adhere to the Constitution before you give him more money to kill babies in Iran?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, so we got a problem with money in politics, but we also have a problem with a lot of these, I wouldn't even say Democrat or Republican, a lot of these politicians at a national state level being blackmailed and bought off by AIPAC.
Yeah.
AIPAC
Man,
ought to be
that's
registered just like any other foreign
Yeah.
PAC, and they should not have this type of influence over our government, but they do, man.
That's
they
why
they seem to
people
own
believe
Washington, D.C.
Once you say politician, they believe they're all crooked.
I don't think they're all crooked.
I know. They're not all, but people lump them all as crooked. You were the best Christian here, and as soon as you get in office to twos, you're as crooked as the others. That's the way
There you
people
go
see them.
again, man, equating Christianity with morality. That's never been the case. Let's just say people who are good moral people get in office and all of a sudden their morality it seems to be lost in.
Who claim to?
Yeah, I mean you got people out there, man, who are there's a woman here in Michigan, man. I saw her in Detroit News this morning talking about we got to stand behind Israel. They're the only democratic country in the Middle East. Democratic, baby. They don't let people look like me vote.
No. No.
They don't look back the brown Palestinians whose land it's on. They don't let them vote.
No.
They can't walk to the store free
No.
without going through checkpoints.
No.
They get their hospitals, schools, and clinics blown up.
Yeah.
They get settlers from New Jersey and New York and Miami coming over there with guns and hammers and burning up their houses and shooting them out of it. And you want to talk to me about a democratic country?
In fact,
And don't gaslight me.
Yeah.
Just say you paid.
Tell me something here, guys. We got a primary coming up a few months from now, August. We need to get people to understand the importance of getting out there and voting. What could we say to them to help them to see the need to cut out? Because that is important based on all we see going on right now. We need to have people out there. What are you going to tell the people?
well, the thing about it is that you look at the election in Texas, where this guy won. He beat the lady. What's her name?
Crockett, Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. And the thing is that I don't know what happened, but she was saying, and a lot of people, I was, people with the news, they were saying she didn't go out of the two places where she got the most votes. She didn't go into the Hispanic and the other areas. It was like, so if we get that kind of a turnout in the main election, we ain't going to win anything.
Well, they also had rampant voter suppression.
Yes.
They had people going to the polls finding out their names had been removed.
And have
they
to
had
go
people
all
being
over.
told at the last minute that the voting precinct where they voted for the last 20, 30 years had moved.
Mm-hmm.
You had also the typical machinations that Republicans do to suppress the black vote. I don't think turnout, period, especially from the Democratic side of the equation, is going to be an issue. I think the question is it going to be enough to override the suppression and the bullshit?
It happened in 2016.
Yes.
Exactly. Same
Yes.
thing. And we talked about this last year, Scott, before the election. I don't know if you guys remember this leading up when Harris versus Trump. We talked then. I said, we got the voters. The matter is the vote going to count? And then, of course, you've got, all the money that's in politics. You've got people out here who are actually being influenced by blatant lies, blatant distortions that if we had what we used to have for decades, the fairness doctrine, where you have someone from the left side of the equation give their commentary, and out of fairness, you had to have somebody from the right side of the equation and give their commentary. And the airwaves were viewed as a commons. They were owned by all of us as citizens. And of course, you had Reagan come in.
Yep.
And they passed these laws, and then you corrupted the Supreme Court, and now they treat the airwaves like some billionaire owns them, and they're buying up the media.
Well, they do own it. CBS, CNN, they
CBS,
bought
Paramount,
up.
yeah, Warner Brothers, all owned by these guys who
The billionaires.
who don't have our best interest in mind. So yeah, man, we're at a point now. If you guys haven't never read William Shirer's book, which is The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, do yourself a favor, read it. But he had another book to me that was just as important. And it was he wrote this after he wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, but it's a book that he called The Nightmare Years. And it was based from 1933 to 1939, those years leading up to World War II, and what he observed as a man who was a New York Times writer, an American, but who spoke fluent German and had been in Germany for almost 2 decades. And he knew a lot of people. And he talked about his experience going to cocktail parties, going to the opera, seeing people in the market, seeing people at church, and talking to them, their attitude and the way it was affected by the propaganda and the zeitgeist in the air about these Jews. We got to go to war.
Okay.
And the same thing is here.
And we
You
got
have
the
people
propaganda
right now
going.
saying that I don't have a problem with ICE shoot people in the streets.
How are we going to counteract the propaganda?
You got to come out there and get the truth. The same thing. It shouldn't require war, but the same thing that caused these people in Germany, who were always regarded as good Christians, hardworking, industrious,
Okay.
well organized people, to turn into monsters. In the years after World War II, when everything was rebuilt with the Marshall Plan and the rubble was removed and they rebuilt that country, they won't allow you to fly a Nazi flag. They won't allow you to talk about Heil Hitler. They won't allow you to have these type of political conversations where you can just come on TV and the airwaves and just lie. You can't do that.
No.
But here, it's open season.
Well,
Oh,
today
yeah.
you still, in France, not Germany, I don't know about Germany, in France you cannot buy a copy of Mein Kampf,
Right,
Hitler's book,
right.
still, to this day.
Yeah.
They were an occupied country. My big question is, who is fighting this war? We're fighting Israel's, Netanyahu's war.
Absolutely.
First in Gaza,
Yeah.
the genocide that happened, we
Did we do anything about it? No.
there was a hiatus of not sending bombs during Biden's years. But then that stopped just like that. And now we're back in Iran, and it's still, and who's shooting the main weapons? It's us, the United States for sure, but it's Israel. We're fighting Israel's war.
Yeah.
And do you realize that right now this war is going on? The other day, Trumpy decided to take off the sanctions so Russia could sell the oil. But Russia is giving Iran information so they can locate the American facilities and bomb them.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Troop movements.
at the
Not
same
just
time,
facilities.
well,
troop
yes,
movements.
yes.
This is where the troops are.
At the same time, Ukraine, Trump is getting some help from Ukraine because Ukraine had this great expertise in the
Hybrids.
Defensive drones.
defensive drones, and they're there helping. The same man who refused to send them ammunition to fight Russia. And now we take Russia, who he is, Russia wants to have peace. You're the hindrance to it. But now Russia is giving him licks.
The geopolitical chessboard has changed so much dramatically in the last few months, where you had them topple Maduro in Venezuela, right? Took him away in handcuffs, ostensibly because it's a regime change, but it's his same regime that's in power. They just took Maduro
Except
out of there,
for him.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, but they took the oil. That's what they wanted. They stole
That's what
the
he
oil.
wanted.
Well, the oil was going into Cuba. Now Cuba has its tourism industry is starting to wither up.
Everything
and
is
die.
going.
Yeah.
And now you have a situation where China and Russia depend on Iranian oil, and so does Cuba. And the United States is in a position where they're going to be up against a military global superpower in China that probably is our equal,
Oh,
if
yeah.
not more.
Yeah.
And very
And
safe,
Russia,
not more.
which has nuclear weapons and certainly has a war ethos. And we're going to go up against them because Netanyahu said so.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that they know that anything they do, the U.S. gonna back them. Anything that they do,
I think anything they want to do, they compel the U.S. to do. I think they own Washington, D.C.
Well, that's what I think. I
Yeah.
think, and right now, every day, I hear about them bombing, instead of bombing on people. They've been doing that since, since the time they're supposed to have a peace talk, and everything. Every day, they're bombing these people.
It's a
It's
peace
inhumane,
talk.
man.
Look at the what? Who did we send to meet with these people who are so expert in their job as what is the guy name? Trump's
Kushner.
son-in-law and this
Yeah.
other man.
Petey
Wheatstraw.
Wheatstraw.
Yeah.
They sent to meet with the Russians.
Jared Kushner,
Yeah.
Kushner.
a.k.a. Petey Wheatstraw.
Yeah.
You know who that is, right?
No.
That's the devil's son-in-law. You know that?
No.
But the thing is,
I
Good
gotta
to know, though.
I got to bring you up on some Dolomite.
But the whole thing is, if you're going to talk to intelligent people, right? People with a lot of expertise, are you going to send a man with a penknife to fight a man with machine gun? It's stupid. So in the first, and don't forget, Kushner. What are they after? Well, on Israel, the coast, the West Bank, and all of that. That's where Donald and this other guy is supposed to be a developer too. And they are after the land there. You hear Trump talking about, all the ocean and the this and how much they could do and
they,
make.
they think they're going to develop it.
yeah.
Yes.
They really think that.
That's their plan.
Not only that, if you look, I think we talked about this last week, but that mantra from the river to the sea is actually a Zionist mantra. They think that that all that territory, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Saudi Arabia, that's theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and so now, again, you've got the Gulf Coast Coalition pissed off because Trump's not protecting them, started a war against their advice without their knowledge, and you've got Iran over there saying, you've been hosting these dogs. The United States, you've got a base in Bahrain, you got a base in Kuwait, you got a base in the United Arab Emirates, you got all these different bases. We're blasting all of them.
Yeah.
And if some of your people get killed, you shouldn't have sold out.
Right.
So it's almost an impossible situation, and it's getting to the point, man, where if you're starting to, if you know we're not getting, there's a news blackout here. We're not getting the truth here.
No,
NBC,
no,
NBC,
no,
CNN,
no,
just
no,
as bad as Fox.
no.
It's
All
just
them
like Vietnam.
But
They
if
never
you
tell
start
you the
to
truth.
read some of the stuff that's coming overseas, it seems like it's not going all that well for the United States militarily.
No.
And there's a rumor out there that the aircraft carrier Lincoln got hit. There's rumors out there that quite a few of our enlisted men and women have been killed already, up to 500, like we said. And you've had I think it was an F-15 that was shot down. Two of them shot down over Kuwait.
Yep.
Now we're starting to find out that it might have been kind of fratricide, where they purposely shot down those planes who thought they were up there with allies, because when it comes right down to it, everything that was done with the understanding was, you got this oil, we'll protect you, we'll put you under our protection, and we get special deals on that, and that's a symbiotic relationship. But we don't like each other.
No.
We hear what you say about us.
Yeah.
And we know what you think about us as Arabs and Muslims. So we don't have any love lost, but we can do business. Well, now they're saying, what the hell we paying you money for? And I don't like you either.
Yeah.
With your dirty ass. So, hey man, it could get a lot worse.
And it is going to.
I think you're right, Patrick.
All right, man.
Before you go, man, you know, the Iranians already said the only time they're going to stop, in other words, we're going to fight to the end. But we are not stopping until we give Donald, Orange Man, just what he did.
Yep.
He killed Khomeini,
Yep.
his wife,
Yep.
and the son's wife.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that guy is worse than the father.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they're coming back for him
So
personally.
don't be surprised when you start hearing places here getting hit.
All right, man. That's going to do it for this evening. But we'll be back next week for more Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we get to the next block.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.